back towards the front.
It's estimated that up to 50,000 soldiers from the island of Ireland died in the First World War, but many came home, some bearing the physical and psychological scars of battle. Those from the nationalist tradition in Ireland were seen by many as traitors. Tina Noonan's play The Prodger is based on one of those soldiers, her great-uncle from Waterford. He survived the Battle of the Somme, but lost a leg.
My great-uncle came back to Lismore and Waterford, and in some ways he was lucky because it was an old garrison town, and they were quite tolerant to a certain extent of Irishmen who fought in the First World War. But he couldn't really talk about it. The only people he really spoke about it to was with other veterans. You know, in some ways it was worse. They had to come back and go back into a small little community and into an Irish community where people's attitude towards British rule and everything had completely changed overnight.
It was like a scene from the Old Testament, Tom. A parting of the seas. Honest to God. Upsetting and disrupting people. You should have stayed. You should have been here fighting for us, not for them. You'd have been grand then, so you would.
Glenn Barr, who in the 1970s was a leading force within the UDA, has hosted numerous visits to the battlefields of the Somme, including people from all traditions. He says for decades the loyalist Protestant perspective on the Great War was skewed.
From my history and my background, of course, our whole ethos was the 36th Ulster Division, but it got to the stage where we didn't even think the Germans were there. Nobody was there when the 36th Ulster Division. And of course it was a bit of a shock to learn that so many Irish Catholics had died, and then to learn how they were treated when they came home was an even bigger shock.
It was complicated. It wasn't cut and dried. I mean, I'm not a historian. I'm just telling his story, and I can understand why, you know, in Ireland growing up in 1914, 1915, he'd gone to university. It was an adventure. It was exciting. It was maybe instead of going on a gap year or something, you went and did something different. And then, you know, he was only in the army for 18 months, and it just changed his life completely and utterly.
The scream of a horse in pain. Sometimes it would go on all night.
Mervyn Jess,